Hello and welcome to another video. It's another clear sky, so it's another Astro video. And in this one, I'm going to show you how I get an Astro selfie. So the first thing that everyone's going to be mostly interested in is gear. Now, what gear do you need to bring for this? Not a lot really. I've just got a camera. You either need a camera that has an inbuilt intervalometer, or you'll need to buy a cheap intervalometer. You're also going to need a tripod for long exposures, and also just a light, a torch of some kind. I've got links to all the ones I use down below. Next then is clothes. You're going to need to wear bright coloured clothing so that you stand out in the picture against the contrast, against the background. Next then is you're going to have to find a composition. You need an interesting foreground. Now, it's going to be totally personal preference on what that looks like, but I found this lone tree here that I think was quite interesting. First thing to do then is take a shot just of the foreground and the sky, but go and stand perfectly still in the shot. Make sure that you aren't facing the camera, or if you move slightly, then your face will turn into a ghost and you'll look really odd. If the shot of you is blurry because you can't stand still for longer than 10 seconds, then all you need to do is move further into the image or move the camera further away from you so that you're smaller, then any motion blur will be less visible. While you're in the picture, make sure that you stare longingly into the distance, but also make sure you're looking into the image, not out of it, as that will make it really odd for the viewer. They won't understand what they're looking at. Flashing your light on and off is optional. So the first thing to do then is take a picture of the foreground and the sky with you just stood in there. Then we're going to set in the intervalometer, we're going to stop the aperture down as well, and then we're going to do some light painting around the foreground subject, and then bang, that is it. So we're going to take all these shots back into the computer and we'll edit them. I'll show you how. So, before we jump into the computer, I just want to say that I realised that I ran through that really quickly while I was out there about how to take those shots. Now, what I did was, in the first shot with me and the tree, I just left the aperture wide open at f2.8. I was shooting at 15 seconds and an ISO of 2000. Then all I actually did to do the light painting was leave the shutter speed exactly as it was, leave the ISO exactly as it was, and just stop the lens down to about f7, something like that. So if you've got any questions on it, just drop them down below and I'll get back to you. So let's jump into the computer. So very quickly then, running through this, I'm going to find my images and then I'm going to edit the first image. I'm going to speed through this now. You've seen me edit an image before. Once I'm happy with that, then all I'm going to do is sync those settings across the rest of the images that I've taken. Okay, once I've done that, then all I'm going to do is select all the images, right click on them, edit in, and open as layers in Photoshop. Once they're open in Photoshop, I'm just going to use the same process that I've done in a previous light painting tutorial. First thing I'm going to do when the images are in Photoshop is just to make a copy of them. So you can either select them all and then drag it down to copy layers, or you could just press Command and J and that'll make a copy. Also deselect the copies of the layers. They're only there in case we cut this up. Then what I'm going to do is take the image of me stood with the tree and bring that to the bottom of the layers. So all you start by doing then is unselecting all the layers apart from the top one and the bottom one. And then all we're going to do is stick on a layer mask. We're going to go to a big brush, we're going to put the hardness all the way up and the opacity all the way up. Then we're just going to paint over where we want the background to be. So I'm going to be painting out all the sky, we'll keep the sky from the bottom one. I'm going to paint out me as well so that we have me sharp from the bottom one. And then all I'm going to do is then set down the hardness on the brush, and I'm just going to slowly paint out or paint back in if I've missed anything to bring the light in from that layer. Once I'm happy with that, the next thing I'll do is just turn on the next layer, copy down that layer mask by holding Alt and dragging it down, and then seeing what light that next layer brings. And then just basically going through and selecting black if I want to remove part of that layer or selecting white if I want to bring back part of that layer. So I'm going to work my way through these now. I'll speed it up, you'll see what I mean. So I'm just taking out these light streaks here, but I'm leaving in the light that's being painted in. If it's a little bit harsh, then all I do is just drop the opacity and drop the hardness on the brush and just have a few clicks around to still leave some of the light in, but to not pull or to get rid of all of that light or bring it all into the image, so it just softens it around. Then what I like to do, once I've copied those layers down and down and down, is just go through each of the layers, just turn them on and see what light they bring and see whether I'm happy with what it's bringing in. Sometimes you don't need all the layers. And that is it. I'm happy with that image. So that's it for the video. I hope it was helpful, and I hope we see you again soon. Take care.